I hear you.
I bet we live, man.
That's tough.
We're live, man. We was off air talking about podcasts of the shells of their former selves, and you are now tuned into one that is not, man. Episode 96. What up, man?
9-6, man. 9-6 in the building. It was a good year. It was a great year. Nas dropped the album. Mobb Deep dropped the album. You know what I'm saying? Lil Kim and Foxy Brown and them dropped albums probably.
I think
AZ.
that was Fuji's. I think that was Mr. Smith LL.
Fugees, you know what I'm saying? The Mr. Smith album. Holy shit.
Trackmasters were heavy that year, 96.
Whoo, what a year, man. Shout to 9-6, man. He was alive and well
Wow.
for that one, man. Shout out to the coconut water. You know what I'm saying?
Shouts
And
to
that
the
healthy
coconut
shit.
rum I got in here. Coconut rum, water, ice.
Woo.
I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
What getting nice right now, man.
I'm chilling, man. We speaking about 96. 96 Bulls, man. That was a good year for them. Let's run this classic, bro. A couple seconds
Da,
of
da,
this.
da, da.
Dunbar things, man.
Da, da, da.
While we tweet this out.
I get the plug,
It's the
hit
ringside
my
club,
dog.
you heard.
Pistol case, I gotta get them off. Like cuts, you let them sit too long. They scab off, cop the scope just to pick them off. She get the vision, she submitting like a figure four. Losing weight like Ricky Ross. I get the to give you the force. Get the to give you endorsements. Get you some Porsches. All white, all saints to call.
All white.
Cause we've been off that
Da, 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 da.
hit him with the la da da. The other side smoking la da da. Like la da da. So quit the bullshit. Play the sport on some bullshit.
I mean, it's the ringside club, you heard?
And if you churchy, you can get hit in the pulpit. Cause we get this task force on the la da da. We hitting punches in the spot da da da. Like feds rushing, we like ta da
Da, da,
da.
da.
You know this hustle, it can't stop.
Da, 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 da.
So bring the packs out. Count the beamer and black out. Like it's the first break. Getting chips like the Bulls in 96. From the ta-da-da. Got in the fit with the
Da,
gla-da-da.
da, da.
Trust you, don't want nada. It's 12 bottles in this spot. Like da-da-da-da.
Peace to y'all, it's the ringside club, Paul. A.O., Blame Boogie, Chad Law. The power's back, triple power bomb. The big dog trio in the stream yard. Go outside, hit the venue guard. It's all love when you see us, Lord. Back to the pad, on air for the pod. Ringside club, intro to the squad. Let the show start. Yes, sir.
Ganger,
Peace,
ganger,
peace,
ganger.
peace, peace. Peace to the gods out there, of course. Peace to the earths, man. It's 96, episode 96. Like we usually do, broadcasting live from the Empire Tri-State every Thursday night live, 9:05 live. It's the Ringside Club with dynamic duoing it up tonight. Peace to Blame Boogie out
Spursky.
there on assignment. I mean, Chad, what up, man? What's good?
Yeah, I'm feeling blessed, black, highly favored, man. It's just 100,000 degrees right now. Feeling like Sauce Money XL, Sauce Laudner. So I got the shades on right now. You know what I'm saying? Got to just get my sip on. Got the plants behind me. Shout out to the plant parents out there. Cameo from the air fryer to the corner. You know what I'm saying? Air fryer gang. You know how we be cooking it up. Good wings in the spot. You know what I mean? Feeling good tonight, man. Vintage on the frames. LA on the hat. LAW. Former RSC predictions heavyweight champion. You gonna defend it for this Slammiversary, man? I mean, does it even matter if it's the two-guy squad? Pause. Two men.
I'm not going to defend it because I'm at a disadvantage. I don't know what's going on over there. I know that they have Slammiversary coming up, and I do want to watch, but there's no way I'd be able to make educated picks. I haven't really been tapped in, but I'm gonna watch this Saturday though. I'm gonna watch this
Yo,
Saturday.
TNA
I'm gonna try to.
Slammiversary. I am as an OG TNA guy, man. Like I remember watching the early Slammiversaries when Slammiversary was first created. You know what I'm saying? The Jeff Jarrett NWA World Title era. I fuck with Slammiversary, man. It's usually you could say that's their SummerSlam because I think Bound for Glory is more of the WrestleMania for TNA.
I was about to
So
say like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, it's like their SummerSlam essentially. So there's usually some surprises, there's some debuts, there's some returns. I think we see some NXT crossovers with this one coming up on Saturday. We're gonna run through the card for y'all. You know what I'm saying? We got to show some light to the TNA crowd out there. Shout out to those TNA followers that do rock with the RSC. You know what I'm saying? My guy Chris Bay is well tapped in. You know what I mean? Quite a few of y'all. You know what I mean? We got to show love to TNA sometime. You know what I mean? And why not? One of their major pay-per-views.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot going on. Before we get into talking about any wrestling and all that, I want to let everybody know eyes, ears, reach. You can find everything you need to know at theringsideclub.com. See that little ticker that's scrolling across the bottom of your screen? That's all the info right there. Hit theringsideclub.com. We're across all socials. That's X, that's TikTok, Instagram, Threads. If you want to watch all of the past episodes, all of the future episodes, they're at the website. You can go to YouTube, of course. Make sure you subscribe. Hit us with a nice little like or a 5-star rating on the Apple Podcast or the Spotify front. I want to send some love out to your man Rich Latta and Vic Perry and your man Graham from Public Enemies and everybody else that was involved in that AEW project that just dropped. A lot of good music on that project, 13 tracks. I believe Rich did the beats on at least 10 of them. So there's some good records on there. I want to send some love to Heartbreak Julio, my good sir Heartbreak Julio. I'm bringing back the part of my Fresh Radio podcast, and I got Julio on. We're gonna chop it up tomorrow. He has a lot of music that's coming up, so we're gonna chop it up. That'll be either live or it'll drop soon right after. If not this weekend, definitely by Monday. And of course, the Signature Move podcast, man. That's moving. There's a lot going on, but right now we're talking about the Ringside Club, episode 96. We're on that road to 100 episodes, man. April 15th will be the date that we drop episode number 100, which is crazy. But that shows. I found speaking of the part of my Fresh podcast, not to go off on a tangent real quick, but I found an episode that I shared with Chad earlier. Me and him talked 2017. We was having a conversation, and part of that conversation, although it was very music business based, it applies to podcasts as well. There's a lot of people that have pods and they get about 15 episodes in and they call it quits because the numbers ain't really what they want. You know, we're about to be 100 episodes in, and we're not stopping anytime soon.
No way.
Not stopping anytime soon.
No way, Jose.
Yo, peace to the good sirs. Look at that. Look at that. The good sirs over there at the Black Guy Wrestling Pod. Brand new logo by the third member, by the way, of the Ringside Club, Blame Boogie. That new BG Dub logo. Blessed over there. You know what I mean? But shouts to the good folks over there. We're getting up with them soon. We're getting up with a lot of people soon, man. A lot more of our inner circle. But back to that conversation, man. Episode 100 coming up. Y'all gotta be consistent, man. We've been consistent week in and week out, just getting on
every
here,
week,
making sure that whether we have a guest or not, we're here dropping. We're trying things. We're putting the work in, basically. You know, we're a staple in this community, and we're gonna be here for a minute. So, not to toot my own horn and all that, but I feel very good about that, and I feel very good about what we have coming up and all that, man.
Also, much love to everybody that checks out my CL First Takes, man. I've been flooding with the album reviews. I was just at Quad Studios last night. I was at a panel, a music industry panel. Shout out to Eswit, a homie over at Apple Music. You know what I'm saying? One of my homies from LIU University. Shout out to Sydney from The Orchard. Shout out to my homie Nadia from 300, as well as Cree from Audio Mac. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good homies, a lot of good resources. It's nice to pop out and, people are like, yo, I'm paying attention. Like the offices, they let me know in the offices they watching these reels, man. They watching. They jacking and they watching this shit, man, because they seeing what's going on. You got to have somebody that's keeping it real, keeping it 100 when it comes to the takes. I know a lot of people tend to not agree with some of my wrestling takes because I just be shooting at the hip with the reality of the shit. But, somebody got to be the outlier of this shit, man. When it comes to the music, I be keeping it a buck with this shit, man. A lot of this shit needs to be told. Music ain't being mixed and mastered properly. It ain't just about the production. It ain't just about your beats, being A1. Nigga, I need to hear if that beat, if that whole song is mixed and mastered properly. your content, the consistency, the monotony of some of these albums be fucking heinous, man. Cut your albums down at least 10 tracks. A lot of people don't want to tell these artists the truth, but I'm gonna go ahead and say in a lot of these reels, a lot of these reviews. So if you follow me on social media, I can check out all 50 of these reviews that I have so far. I'm gonna keep flooding with all of them. Get back on my law takes. Y'all been asking for more law takes. It's just so much wrestling to consume on a regular basis that it just life.
We gotta get the video version of the law takes, man. We gotta throw that up on the page.
I'll have to just do the video version, the video recaps. I still like writing, you know what I'm saying, from the blog ever, so I still like to write, but it's a lot.
Do both though. Do both. That's what I'm doing with the signature move. That's written.
That's
written.
That is true.
Do both.
So, we just want to keep flooding for the RSC content. We're trying to get to WrestleMania, all expenses paid. We're trying to be in Las Vegas, you know what I'm saying, courtesy of whoever's going to take care of us in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? We speaking it up from our mouths to God's ears. Pause. You know what I mean? It's what we're doing right now. So much love to everybody that's tapped in, connecting in with us, subscribe, liking, sharing, telling a friend to tell a friend. And it's the Almighty, man. Bang.
Too sweet me if you see me. What are we talking about today? So you said we got Slammiversary coming up.
We got Slammiversary on the docket for Saturday.
Let's start with that. What's that card looking like?
All right, so we'll just go through the card match by match, and then we'll take it from there. Match number 1, Mustafa Ali is defending the X Division title against Speedball Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey finally gets a title match on pay-per-view, and we all know Mike Bailey's track record of never, ever winning a match across all promotions. So something tells me that Mike Bailey is picking up his title for the first time, and a win for the first time, quite possibly all year, that matters, this Saturday in Montreal in his home country. It's going to be a banger of a match.
It's going to be a fire match. I'd like to see it.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I haven't been tapped in. Have they had a match before? Have they wrestled already?
No, I'm not sure. I'm sure people could fact check and say they wrestled at NJ fucking TW or some independent company, but
not in TNA, not on TV.
Not in TNA, not on TV, not on pay-per-view. So this match is going to bang. I kind of think Mustafa Ali should retain because his X Division title reign has been superb, and I don't think anyone should dethrone him anytime soon. But for Mike Bailey to lose another high-profile match in his home country on pay-per-view, I think would just do Mike Bailey a disservice. Give that man a win that matters. So I think Mike Bailey picks up the W on Saturday and gets the X Division title from Mustafa Ali. And I think from there, Mustafa Ali continues on into, dare I say, AEW territory. Could be crazy, but I think he moves on to next company pastures. Or he sticks with TNA and goes through the Forbidden Door and goes back to NXT for his North American title. Crazy things have happened. Next up, the Militia. Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich defend the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships against Spitfire, Danny Luna, and Jody Threat. It's a revolving door for the women's tag division across every company at this point. We're always going to see the same women competing for tag team titles. I don't see the Militia losing anytime soon because they're just going to end up playing hot potato with the Spitfire and then Havoc and Jessica, and it's just going to be a revolving door of like the same tag team. So I think they just retain these belts for now. That's all. That's my take on it. And just for the sake of the system having all the gold, Alicia Edwards having a belt would make sense too. Next up, AJ Francis defending the TNA Digital Media Championship versus PCO in a match that is going to be a complete bathroom break.
Oh, you said PCO against who? AJ
Top
Francis?
dollar AJ Francis.
Ooh.
For the TNA Digital Media Championship.
What are are there any stipulations for that match, or is it just like a ring the bell, we go?
It is a singles match, ring the bell, throw hands, throw fists, body slam, and whatever PCO pulls out of his arsenal.
Okay.
That is going to be a train wreck, a shit show, a car crash, all types of synonyms for bad. AJ Francis, the digital media champion. Rich Swann is his homie, tag team partner. AJ Francis is also holding a belt that looks akin to Okada's Continental Breakfast Championship. That's the unofficial international heavyweight championship. So AJ Francis has 2 belts in TNA right now. I don't know what's going on here, man. I just show up, watch the program, and go, all right, I'm gonna just tap out now. So I think AJ Francis retains, but because it's Canada, it's Montreal. I unfortunately think PCO will win the TNA Digital Media Championship in our head scratcher moment of the night.
How long do you think PCO wrestles for?
Another 10 years. He's the freak of nature.
My man he's in Ric Flair country.
He's not stopping anytime soon. PCO is going to keep going and going and going. Next up, the system of Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards defend the TNA World Tag Team Championships versus ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay. It's going to be a cool match, but I just think this match is going to be another showcase of how repetitive and revolving door the TNA tag division is. I don't understand what's going on with all the tag team divisions across the companies, man. Like, why does it seem like we're just getting the same ass tag team matches for the tag titles across every company except maybe SmackDown?
I mean, like, tag teams for the most part have always had the potential of having a nice tag team feud at the top of the card, main event. But more often than not, it's just like it's an afterthought, you know. And like we're in the dog days of summer, right? So it's definitely an afterthought when there's so many other things going on. AEW is building an all-in. We got Slammiversary, a lot of main event heavy cards, singles world title heavy cards. And those tag team titles are always going to be afterthoughts, whether men or women. Trios are
I don't
doubles.
like it, yo. It's crazy. I really don't like it. I really wish the tag titles had more love across all these companies, man. It's just like, granted, the matches will bang, but it's just like, dog, there are way more tag teams than y'all are letting us on to believe, especially in TNA, because they can throw anyone together right now. And even Mike Bailey and Trent Seven, they had a chance. And if Mike Bailey don't win the X title, I think they should be the next tag team champions. Crazy enough, but ABC.
Speaking of like that TNA and NXT collab, it'd be dope to see Trent Seven interact with Pete Dunne, and Tyler Bate again.
That's fire.
You know what I mean? Like there's potential for that.
Mike Bailey going to NXT real quick. That's a dope one.
There you go.
That's kind
even ABC. ABC was one of those a couple episodes ago. I forget which, but we were talking about who would you like to see go here and go there. As far as that TNA NXT collab, ABC fit right in with the age range and the style and the size of a lot of guys down there.
Especially Ace Austin. Yeah, I can see that. Chris Bay could fit along with the black wrestlers in NXT. I can see that. For the sake of this match, I think the system retain just so they can keep having the gold within the group. I could be wrong, but I think ABC has just been spinning the wheels with the tag team titles, and you got to just keep going with the heels, man. Next up, Jordan Grace defends the TNA Knockouts World Championship against Ash by Elegance, the former Dana Brooke. Wow. I don't see Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance defeating Jordan Grace whatsoever.
No.
At all.
To add there.
Like, if she's the one to dethrone Jordan Grace, I know this company will be under siege, no pun to the pay-per-view. Like, there's no way that Jordan Grace comes this far to lose to Ash by Elegance, no matter who's in her corner. Like, I can't see it happening. I don't want to see it happening.
Who is, let's say, because I've seen rumblings that, maybe she's getting let out of her contract early. Maybe she heads over to NXT top of the year, 25, something like that. We're more than halfway through 24.
It's true.
If she has to lose to somebody that you see on the roster right now in TNA, who should it be, or who do you think makes sense?
It's funny you say that, because the next match is the fatal four-way women's match of Zaya Brookside versus Giselle Shaw versus Tasha Steelz versus Fabi Apache. Winner of that match will presumably be the number one contender for the Knockouts Championship for the next pay-per-view. So I think Zaya Brookside has a lot of upside. She's a hot commodity. People are rocking with Zaya Brookside. Giselle Shaw is the best women's heel on the roster right now, the only credible one. She lost her chance early to become champion, but I think now she's gotten more development and time in and credibility. I think she'll spin the block, and this could be the next chance for her to take over the division. I'm late to the party on Fabi Apache. I don't think she stands a chance. And Tasha Steelz is a reliable hand. Former Knockouts champion. That urban equity in TNA at this point. She's been there, but I just don't think she's the one to get the job done just yet. I think her and Giselle Shaw will continue to feud as they've been on TV. But I think it's either Zaya or Giselle who take the belt from Jordan Grace when it's time. Like, Zaya is a fan favorite. and Giselle's the top heel. So it's only a matter of time before it's either one of them. And Tasha Steelz is unfortunately the odd woman out. So I think that's where we go. And main event time. In a 6-way elimination match for the TNA World Championship, aka let's get all the upper mid-card main event guys in one match. Moose defends against Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin, Nick Nemeth, Believe in Himself Joe Hendry, and Stop Frankie Kazarian.
Where is Mike Santana?
Yeah, so much for that return, man. He could be probably booked and busy elsewhere, but he is somebody who's not being utilized to the best of his potential under this TNA return regime. A lot of us thought he would have been the one to be like, yo, Mike Santana's going to be in the main event. I don't know what's happening there. And I'm sure Mike could tell us himself, but I just don't like the stop and start pushes with Mike Santana across any company. I said this before, I'll say it again. Mike Santana should be NXT. I think that's the best place for him to be utilized. You see what's going on with Ethan Page? Could have easily been Mike Santana right there. You know what I'm saying? I thought TNA would have been it, but I just don't think it's – I can't even say starting to get off on the right foot because the nigga been there for at least like 4 months now. So it's like, I don't know what's going on here. You know what I mean? But in regards to the match, I think this is the way for the belt to get taken off of Moose without having to be pinned. But I just don't think Moose loses the belt yet. I think he has to lose it in a straight-up match to somebody that matters. But this could be the match where somebody is pinned and Moose doesn't have to actually take the pinfall. Who it is, though, I just can't call it. It's tough to call this. What you think?
Run those names down again.
Josh Alexander, wild card. He's been on the run to get his title back, and this is the time for him to get his belt back potentially. Steve Macklin.
He was just feuding with Hammerstone, right?
Yes.
Not too long ago.
Feuding with Hammerstone, who was not featured on this pay-per-view as well. Who could possibly cause Josh the match. You never know. Hammerstone could pop back up. Steve Macklin and Mike Santana, I believe, were affiliated recently. So Mike Santana could pop up and help or, discourage Macklin. Macklin, a former TNA World Champion. I just don't think he is going to be the one to win it back again. It just doesn't scream exciting to see Steve Macklin win the world title in the main event. Nick Nemeth. This could be Nick Nemeth's chance to win the title finally. I think this could be the one, you know what I mean, where we see.
And it would be like a 6-way, where he sneaks that win, It would be a 6-way where he sneaks that win because, like, I think it kind of lessens the potential for any kind of backlash. Here's a WWE guy coming in and blah, 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 blah. It's like, yo, he won in a 6-man. Hold that down for a little bit, and then we figure out who's next up. Plus, that's a big win for whoever actually does, if he does win, and then he does lose it to somebody on that TNA roster. Say what you want about Nick Nemeth, but that's a pretty, that's a relevant victory. That's a pretty sizable win for somebody to beat him.
For him to hit the former zigzag on Frankie Kazarian and win the title without having to pin Moose, I think would actually be a solid ending to that pay-per-view. Because Lord knows, I don't want to see Frankie Kazarian be the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. We already had our nostalgia run with Alex Shelley's year-long title reign. I think we just need to cut the hey, you've been with TNA for all your life, so here's your title run. Like, yeah, not Kaz. Like, no.
I'm getting word from my sources that your man Bolea is up on the podium right now.
Oh, Lord. Fuck Hulk Hogan, man. Him, Linda McMahon up there. 50 Cent bring Donnie T out to Many Men. I don't even know.
I don't know what's going on. It's crazy times right now. Man.
Yo, man, I shouldn't be surprised that Hulk Hogan is up there right now, man, like a fucking clown cake. You know what I'm saying? It's been fuck Hulk Hogan, and it's gonna stay fuck Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean?
Word to the BRP. Throw that red X over your man Hogan's face. Out of here.
Or this could be the match.
Slammiversary.
This could be the match for Joe Hendry to win. A little premature. But if
I wouldn't give him that title in a 6-way. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't give him the title, period. Because I think as popular as he is, like there is still that in the bell has to ring type of shit going on with him. And I really don't, like Joe Hendry is cool for being popular and getting the crowd into
His
it. And having
matches
fun.
ain't bad, man. They not bad. I've seen some fucking boring ass matches, man.
Is he a world champ, dog?
Yo, he's popular. That's what
Is
matters
he
right
a
now.
world champ? Do you book him as a world champ, or do you just let him be popular? You can be popular without the title.
Yo, Jinder Mahal won the WWE Championship on a paper.
Would you have given Jinder Mahal a title?
At that point in time?
And fam, I wasn't mad at his reign, by the way. I wasn't mad at his reign.
Yo, so that's why I think Joe
Jinder
Henry.
Mahal is heinous.
That's why I think Joe Henry could be best for business right now to capitalize and putting the TNA World Title on him to bring the NXT. To be on NXT with the TNA, it's
Give
just
him
a
that
no
digital
brainer.
media championship and let's see how that goes, man.
Come on, man. This nigga
Yo,
said
he went number 1 on the digital media charts. Give him the digital media title and let's be cool.
he is the former digital media champion, so it's not surprising.
So he should be the 2-time digital media champ.
That's essentially the belt that put him to prominence. You know what I'm saying? So if he did win the world title,
Nah, I ain't hating on that, man. Like, I just, I don't know.
I just want to see other people pop up in NXT. Like, this crossover is cool, but I want to see some more credible shit happen between both sides other than just like sprinkles of some of the popular guys and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see somebody cool pop up in TNA. We might get a Rascals reunion on this pay-per-view, impromptu on like the pre-show. I think it'd be a waste of fucking time, but we might get a Rascals reunion on TNA pay-per-view for the sake of it against the No Quarter Catch Club. No Quarter Catch Crew. What a name. Holy shit. It's a lot of fucking names. They are the TNA feature
I'd like
group.
to see a little interpromotional, like British Strong Style versus the Rascals vibe. Just like as far as like an opening match type of vibe.
That's what I
Just
think
let them
should
go.
happen.
You know what I mean? Like just let them go. That's kind of cool.
There's only 7 matches, and something tells me that women's fatal 4-way will be on the pre-show, which makes us at 6 matches. So I think maybe tonight on Impact TV is the night that they're going to announce that Rascals match, because there's no way you don't capitalize on the Rascals' popularity right now by not giving them a match on a pay-per-view, on one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, after they've just made some of the biggest numbers on social media being on worldwide television USA program on NXT. Like, it's just fucking remarkable. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Head scratcher moment with some of TNA's decisions, but I just think that, you got to capitalize on having the Rascals be on this pay-per-view somehow, some way. So
Slammiversary. I'm looking forward to it.
Slammiversary. It's gonna be a good pay-per-view. I'm excited to check
I'm gonna
that
try
out.
to tap in. I'm thinking like as long as I'm in the crib, I got some work to do over the weekend, but as long as I'm in the crib, I'm gonna have that on. I'll tap
I can fuck
in.
with it. I can fuck with it. All right, prepped and cooked. It's that time of the week where we just go over some of the wrestlers we believe are getting prepped for a decline, and some of the wrestlers who are already cooked and at the end of the ropes for the week. My preps for this week is Bronson Reed. Crazy enough, big Bronson Reed has just been on a steady decline. My man can't get a win, a title shot, anything to save his life. It's unfortunate. I don't want to say he's cooked because he's got a chance. Maybe he should go back to NXT. I don't know. I think a lot of people should go to NXT if I'm being 100. Like, it seems like a fun place to be right now. So I think Bronson Reed can go back to NXT and thrive in that main event scene now more than ever. But my man is just being prepped for a heinous summer. You know what I mean? I don't know if he'll recover anytime soon. So I'll say prep for now until something else changes. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a vocal Bronson Reed supporter. I've been rooting for that dude. I think his finisher is still one of the best, like, in the business, period, because it looks as realistic as a finisher move should. Like, this big ass guy jumps off the top rope and lands on you. You're not kicking out. And he's a talented dude. He can cut a promo. He has a presence. He looks all right in the suit. He looks all right in the ring.
He does look intimidating.
You know what I mean? Like, so it'd be great to actually see something written for him to do, as opposed to, hey, just need you to go out there and have a good 15, 10, 8 minute, one commercial
Barn
break.
burner that you ain't winning.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? There was a quote, I think it was Finn Balor. He was like, not too long ago, before he turned heel and the whole Judgment Day vibe, where he was like, so just not burnt out ain't even the word, just checked out. It's like, all right, I'm gonna just come in there. Who do you want me to lose to tonight? And that's how I feel about Bronson Reed and a couple of other people. It's like,
yes,
who do you want me to lose to tonight?
Which is kind of wild. You know what I mean? Yeah, Braun Breaker outside. Shit, chill out, yo. Braun Breaker crowd going on out here, man. But nah, it is kind of wild though. You know what I mean? That Bronson Reed has to go through this moment. I feel like he is in an unfortunate position that he has to actually be the fall guy for a lot of people. It's not cool, man. I think Bronson's a good hand. Unfortunately, pause, but he's getting dealt the bad hand right now when it comes to the card game of booking. It's really unfortunate. But I'm gonna go as far as Cook. Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose is fried, man. She is deep fried, sauteed, marinated. It's clips for Nyla Rose and what she got going on, man. I don't know what Nyla Rose is on, bro. Like, she can't buy a win to save her life. It's really unfortunate.
I mean, like, she had that early run as world champ. She just had a feud with Athena. She took that L over down in Ring of Honor. She just had the match with Mercedes. I think right now, like, she kind of reminds me of at a certain point, Shawn Michaels' first run as world champion in '96. Speaking of '96, right? Shawn's first run as world champ, they just lined Monster up, and then another Monster is like Monster of the Month. They had Vader. They had a couple joints with Mankind. It was a Sid Vicious. They had a couple people that were just there to pose the monthly threat or the month and a half, 2-month threat, pay-per-view cycle in your house type of cycle,
right,
for Shawn, and then for Shawn to beat. I think that's the role right now that Nyla's in for anybody holding a championship. She is, a credible victory for that person to have because of her, her pedigree as a former champ.
Yes, you forget she's a former AEW Women's Champion too, by the way.
But it's until she has, they have a direction of like, all right, we need to definitely heat Nyla up for whatever reason. Until that happens, she's gonna be jobber to the stars for a little bit.
Jobber to the stars. That is very evident. You know what I'm saying? Nyla Rose, you are cooked this week, making your debut into the Prepped and Cooked segment. Wow. I mean, looking around the landscape of some of those matches this past week, it actually was pretty easy to go with Nyla. I was like, you know what? I think Nyla actually is a good candidate right now for this week. I don't think anyone else is going to fall in line with the Cook this week. Everyone kind of rightfully so took a L, or they weren't featured enough for me to be like, they're cooked. You know what I'm saying? So, Nyla Rose, it's you this week, boom. Champions Watch, our champions of the week, where we each take a champion and we just give our evaluation of their week. You know what I'm saying? What's to come? I'm going with my champion being the Continental Breakfast champion, Okada, who has one of the worst belt designs I think I've seen since AJ Francis's belt design in TNA. I think Okada's he's just enjoying his money, man. Like you said, yo, he's just there to just be there, yo. He's there to collect a paycheck, like everyone says. Rightfully so. Get your bread, man.
I don't believe
Get your
that,
bread,
man.
yo. Get your bread, yo. I can't hate on it. Just get your bread. I think Takeshita in this current stance is better than Okada. I think Takeshita should be featured more. I think Takeshita would have been bigger money than Okada.
I don't know about bigger money, but I know Takeshita's in that G1 that's popping off this week. The whole month of rest of the month of July. Pardon me. You want the wrestling? WWE's cool. AW's cool. TNA is cool. No doubt. New Japan's where it's at for the rest of the month. Trust me.
The G1's going to be banging. I would love to see Takeshita get the rightful victory because Takeshita needs more spotlight. He looks like
he's not winning. He'll get some wins. There'll be some fire. There's some fire matchups. I got to pull. Well, somewhere before the end of the show, I'll pull.
That's cool.
I'll pull the blocks up, the A block and the B block up, and all that. Yeah.
We can talk about it. I'm a big Takeshita guy. I think he looks like a stud. You know what I mean? The guy just looks like money to me, and I just feel like you should have put more money into Takeshita than you did with Okada. To me, at this point, like Okada's cachet is just shrug your shoulders. You know what I mean? Like it's just happy to be here, guy. And the match with Swerve was cool for what it was. He just looks like a broken down shell of his old self when I look back at some of the old matches that, he's had in Japan. It's tough because it's like I appreciate Okada and the credibility that he brings, but it's just like you really don't need to be a champion right now. Like you really don't need to have this belt. You're not defending it anytime soon. I don't see you having a feud with anyone that matters. yes, he's my champion of the week just because by default he had a match with Swerve with the world champion, and it was a main event of Dynamite. So it's like that's cool, but it's just like I don't know, man. Like, crazy enough, my Champions Watch is always supposed to be the champion that I fuck with, but I'm just like, Okada's just there. He's cool.
Call me the outlier. I'm enjoying the shit. I like everything that he's doing right now. You know what I mean? Like,
he is the bright spot of the Mudline. I'm not gonna hold you. He is definitely the bright spot of that faction.
I like what he's doing. I like Hangman, and I like Jack Perry.
Yo,
the Bucks right now are kind of shrug your shoulders. Like the Bucks, I'm not really feeling too tough right now, but I like what Jack Perry's doing.
Yo, every time I see Jack Perry, I'm like, yo, he's not intimidating. This guy is trying to be like Spike Dudley, scrappy dude. I just can't buy it with Jack Perry being a tough guy. It's just like, you look like you could fuck Jack Perry up. I could fuck Jack Perry up. Like, he doesn't impose any threat to me at all. So when I see him come in and swing and try to look like a badass, I'm like, yo, can someone knock this kid into next week? Like, anybody? Why is Mark Briscoe having a tough time ragdogging this kid around? Like, I'm not understanding this. I don't buy Jack Perry's toughness at all. I think that's just what bothers me when I see Jack Perry roll into the ring and then just look like scrappy fucking dude trying to give everyone the fucking beats. And it's like, yo, dog, fuck out of here, man. And then Adam Page, to me, he's starting to look just like a guy. Like a drunk guy.
I don't know.
A drunk guy who's angry. Like,
look, I like Adam Page and Swerve damn near as much as I like what's going on right now with Punk and Drew.
You know what it is? Adam Page and MJF share the same gimmick right now, except MJF just looks cooler doing it. And Hangman
Adam Page and MJF, how?
Because they're both blaming the fans and have insecurities right now about like, yo, the fans chose you and not me.
That's not Adam Page at all.
Yo, he's like, yo, the fans and everyone took you and they told me that I'm not the guy anymore. They'd rather a nigga who broke into my crib and fucking speak to my baby in a crib, and they're cheering you.
Yeah, but like MJF is directing that to the fans. Hangman is directing everything towards one person.
Their shit started to just be a little too parallel. That's where I'm just like picking up from Dynamite.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Adam Page right now is the guy that came back for one reason and one reason only, and it's not the world title, right? He's back specifically to legally get revenge on Swerve and then figure out what his next steps are as far as championship.
Legally was good.
Yeah, like I think that's the move. Like MJF is back to do MJF shit. You know what I mean? And for me, MJF is like, shtick that may wear thin depending on the week that we're watching. Hangman Adam Page is just a guy that's out for revenge right now. And by all means, by any means necessary, he wants to get his hands on Swerve. That's why he's in Blood and Guts, not because he's realigned with the Elite or he's cool and buddy-buddy with the Bucks or anything like that. He just wants to be in there so he can get a fair one with Swerve Strickland at some point.
You know what?
I like the violence and the pettiness of Hangman Page the same way the pettiness of Punk and the pettiness of Drew McIntyre are going to keep both of them guys away from the world championship until they get that shit out of their system also.
You know why I come to the conclusion that Page just feels like just a guy? When you think about the main event of Wembley, you can't market Hangman Adam Page as the main event of that pay. That's not it. Like, Hangman Page is not like box office selling it out.
I disagree because I think the feud of Swerve and Hangman would have been bigger than either of their names. That makes sense? You know what I mean? Like, I think the feud of the two of them is hot enough that it would have been like, yo, I got to see that shit. And then when you attach the world championship to that, it feels like a big-ass fight.
That's more so for All Out. That's an all-out match. Not for Wembley. I think Wembley, MJF and Ospreay and Danielson and Swerve feel bigger, than Hangman's name cachet, if that makes sense. Like, I get the feud aspect of it. I know the feud is serious, but I just don't think Hangman Page's name is what's going to drive people in droves to Wembley. for the main event. That's an all-out match,
I don't know.
which works because it's the following week.
I don't know. I think it would have worked, depending on what the rest of the card looked like and shaped up to be. I think it would have worked, but that's the cool thing about having 3 and 4 and 5 people in that main event scene right now, where you can kind of move this person here and this person there, and a lot of those combinations work. Like right now, we're getting the Bryan Danielson, will he win the world title story before I'm out of here? We have Swerve going in as the champ. Can he, capitalize on the momentum of beating Will Ospreay and leave Wembley as the world champ? Hangman was right there. MJF is right here. Ospreay's right here. There's a lot of names at the top of that card. That's a healthy main event division.
Who's your champion of the week? Who you at?
I was going with MJF.
Already?
I was going with MJF. Champ of the week, new champ of the week. Took him 59 minutes and 58 seconds to get that victory over your man Will Ospreay.
59, technically.
Yeah, 59. Hell of a match, Now Will Ospreay's on a losing streak, which is interesting. A few episodes of the signature move ago, I said, and this was going into the match with Swerve for the world title, but I said he who hesitates to hit that Tiger Driver loses everything. He hesitated to hit the Tiger Driver to beat Swerve, and he lost that match. It's a
streak, though? I wouldn't say it's a streak. I think it's more so the big matches.
That's up short. Title fights? He just lost 2 title matches.
Yeah, I just wouldn't say a streak.
He's on a big match losing streak.
All right. That's a better, like, a losing streak is like, come on.
But that's the story, though. You know what I mean? Like, that mean streak that you need to have in order to be a top guy. All that smiling shit goes out of the window when you lose not only the opportunity to hold 2 belts, but then the belt that you were already holding. You're out of the title picture right now. You know what I mean? Regardless of you getting hit with the ring and you losing, not because you got beat fair and square, but regardless, MJF's game. Now, how does Will Ospreay rebound? But anyway, champion of the week is MJF for winning that title, because I'm curious to see what he does with it now. You know what I mean? He's the champ of the week as far as holding that international title. I'm curious to see what he does with that. Does he try to make that? Does he try to merge it? Does he feel it's important, or does he just use it as a bargaining chip to get back to the world title? I'm just curious how MJF treats that title moving forward, leading up to Wembley and afterwards.
Well, since you're going to go there, I guess we should give our AEW 250 recap then. Dynamite 250 breakdown, you know what I mean? So we're keeping it right there with the opening of Dynamite. MJF, the new international champion. That match was all right. That match was cool. I'm not going to say it's a lot of discourse, crazy enough, because some people are like, yo, it was too long. The match kind of flew by for me. I think what took it away was a referee being a fucking idiot, as always, in usual, typical AEW referee fashion, between the lack of countouts. I don't know what the table spot was necessary for, the fucking wrestling in the crowd. Certain things just took away from the match for me that I'm just like, yo, y'all didn't do this in a regular Iron Man match that MJF had, so I don't know why we need to go do this now. You know what I mean? Certain things like that kind of just took away from the ambiance of the match for me. Good-ass match. But I just didn't like the referee's calls. I didn't think some of the extra shit was necessary. That ending with Tiger Driver and Ospreay making stupid faces, like, like I was just like taken away from that. Like when that came to that point of the match, I was like, yo, dog, come on, man. It felt so contrived, and it felt like it took so long to get here that I was like, something's going to happen. And lo and behold, the diamond ring came out, ref bump, and new champion, and that's what ended up happening. So. Match was cool. It did what it needed to do. Now they're going to play hot potato with the European title all through Wembley, which should be cool because it's cool to see top guys, actually go back and forth with a title that's not being interim, that's not, stripped. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if you guys did that back and forth, I wouldn't be opposed to that. It gives Ospreay a big potential win at Wembley. Because I was really curious. I was like, is he going to go into Wembley as a champion? You know what I mean? But now it gives him an underdog feel, which is cool. I'm with that. I don't see Pac winning from MJF, nor even getting to all in at all. But, we got that match coming up. We still got a month to Wembley. So that was cool. That was cool, man. MJF's back. I kind of fear, though, like you said, the MJF heel shtick is going to just get old, which is crazy because as a face, I was like, I'm rocking with this shit. I think
the MJF shtick to me, heel or face, is just rinse and repeat, formulaic. Yeah. We've seen all of this shit before. What else? Show me, do something else. You know what I mean?
That's what it was. Watching that match, yo, I was like, I feel like I've seen this too many times. Like, I feel like I'm in 2021 watching MJF do the shtick again.
Yeah. Yo, the only thing, so I like referees that, I like the way that the commentators always explain why a ref would let, wrestlers go into the crowd or not count them out or whatever. Because the referee knows the importance of the match, and they'll be more lenient on purpose because they want to see a definitive winner as opposed to a count out or a double disqualification or a no contest. So when they go into the ring, into the crowd, I'd like to see if somebody gets clotheslined over the top or the table spot, for example, I'd like to see the ref go out there, check on the two, and then immediately get back in and enforce the count. But when they decide to go out into the crowd and brawl, walk and brawl and all that, and the ref follows behind them, I'm not mad at that shit. I like that. That's very attitude era Stone Cold type of shit, where it'd be a title match and Stone Cold and The Rock or Stone Cold and whoever, all of a sudden they find themselves in the third row battling back and forth, or they're all the way by the entry ramp and there's no count out because Earl Hebner's right there with him. You know what I mean? Referee's discretion is fine for me.
Referee's discretion.
Referee's discretion is fine.
Some of this shit really should be announced, made known. Like, I just feel like you just shouldn't just assume this shit.
No, it's not. It's
like,
set
on
commentary.
Where did the table come from? Where did the table come from? Why is the table in use and it's not a disqualification? Like, certain shit, I'm just like...
Again, like, referee's discretion is fine enough of an explanation, and it's cool when commentators say it. You know what I mean? Like, the referee understands the importance of the match and does not want to throw this match out by a double DQ or a count out. That's fine. And that makes sense and that's logical. You know what I mean? The stupid stuff is when the referee is looking at the screen, and we know the ref's looking at the screen and the match is on the screen and there's something going on behind their back. That's stupid.
You say that.
But hold on. But the ref bump here was fine because he was facing the other way. The only thing that I disliked about the match was what you brought up about Will Ospreay and the overacting and the hesitancy with the Tiger Driver, because that's NXT Adam Cole bullshit that I don't like.
Yeah, that's
what
where
that
I was
is.
like, where have I seen this one before?
Yeah, that's very like Shawn Michaels production type of shit. I'm sorry, I love you type of shit.
I also found it the setup to that move, where MJF ducks the hidden blade. Pretty nice, actually. Really nice dodging of that one. But Taz goes, he cheated and looked at the screen.
Smart.
But I was just like, how would he cheat and look at the screen? Then Taz like tried to clean it up. Like,
yeah, he shouldn't have said cheated, but that's announcer. But that's the announcer also not insulting the intelligence. We all know that there's a big ass screen.
Yes.
So instead of saying cheating, he's saying, yo, MJF is taking advantage of the environment.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And realized this guy's
right.
trolling
But had that
down.
been most other commentators anywhere in any company ever, they would have tried to dodge around that shit and say, oh, he's just got a sixth sense and he's got a peripheral vision is superhuman. It's like, nah, bro. There's a big Titantron right there, dog.
He's actually see it. In face of the Titantron as
exactly.
Hidden Blade is getting charged.
So I can appreciate not only Taz acknowledging that is there, but then explaining, took advantage of the fact there's a big TV right there.
Yes.
That's cool.
That was cool. That was cool. That match still would have had to do. I think the oxygen tank and all that. That was fucking.
That's funny. That was funny.
That was funny.
That was funny. That's MJF. That's MJF being MJF, but it's still fresh and it was funny.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that part was that's comedy and shit. I thought it was a good match. You know what I mean? Like I can't ever really say too much about like two guys that go out there and wrestle for an hour and it wasn't boring. And there were a couple times where it went this way or that way, and I thought the match was going to end and it didn't. I was surprised even all the way up to the end when the ref's hand came down for 3. And it wasn't at 60:01. I was surprised. I
I
thought the
think
Will
we
Ospreay.
all thought a wacky finish was going to take
Yeah,
place, and Ospreay would retain to go battle Pac, to then go battle MJF again.
Listen, 25 minutes in, I'm like, yo, they mentioned what the time. Maybe I missed the time limit. Maybe they did mention it and I missed it or whatever. But I'm like,
This
yo,
is a case where they always say 60-second time limit and nobody pays attention to it because like these shits never go 60 minutes, man. Come on.
right? Yeah, it's a TV show. This ain't a pay per view.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great match, man. I thought it was a great match. If I'm gonna be nitpicky about shit, then
It was
fine.
just the ref shit. The ref shit was just what I really.
I didn't mind. I don't mind the ref. I don't mind the ref and the referee's discretion and wanting to call it loosely. I'm just really all Ospreay had to do was go for the Tiger Driver real quick and then drop his hands instead of holding it and then looking around and making the faces and all that.
Yo, that shit was ridiculous.
That's Shawn Michaels.
That was an outlandish sequence to end that match. Just of the fucking.
Yeah, we didn't need that.
What is happening?
We didn't need that. But again, like, all right, cool. That one moment ain't ruined nothing for me. That shit was fine. That was a dope match.
Oh man. Next up, we're already an hour into Dynamite. Very rare.
Yeah, right.
Very fucking rare. What happened next on that show, man?
I know, like, highlights off top. I love the Mariah May promo. You know what I mean? I think
very indifferent on that one.
I love it. I think you are an absolute moron if you're still chanting what at any time ever. Like, you're an absolute idiot. I thought that would have been really, really. It probably would have been more effective had it gone at the top of the show because that's the way that they ended last week. If they opened the show with Mariah May coming out and giving her, reasoning and point of view and this, that, and the third, but the content of her promo was fine. You know what I mean? I thought it was like, look, at any given time, the logic makes sense to me. I could have done this. Everybody saw it coming. I'm not insulting your intelligence again. Everybody knew that at some point I was going to turn on you. Everybody but you. But I know that my opportunity to learn from you and to be real close to you and then to beat you on the biggest stage possible at Wembley was coming up. So I was going to drag it out. That makes sense to me.
The delivery was really daft. That's all. Like, she looked too much like Toni Storm to the point where it was just like, I could have done this. And then I was just like, yo, come on, man. You should have just cut this like Mariah May. Like, you didn't need to just, like, the line about the old yellow shit and taking her out back, like, I felt like that shit was cool, but, like, the execution of the promo itself to me, I was just like, this feels like it's just not clicking. And you could tell by the quietness of the crowd. I just, like, this, you're looking too much like Toni Storm. We want actual Toni Storm, which we weren't getting.
I mean, fuck the crowd. I liked it. I like her coming out and one more time dressing up as Toni Storm to fuck with Toni Storm. To get under Toni Storm's skin a little bit, wherever she's, Whenever we do get Toni Storm back, it's going to be interesting to see what version of Toni we get. Does she come back out as Toni? Is she still timeless Toni? You know what I mean? All that laughing and smiling and Luther and all of that, I think the tone would be a little bit off if she comes out and she's still performing. So I think like something a little more aggressive and straight to the point would be kind of fire. And if they want to take a risk, we don't see Toni until Wembley.
I don't know if Mariah.
I don't think we're going to do that. We're not going to do that. But if you want to take a risk, we don't see Toni Storm until Wembley,
I'm just curious where this leaves Mina. Like, what happens with Mina now? Like, I like Mina.
Where does her? Who is she more loyal to? She's more loyal. Yeah, exactly. She's more loyal to Mariah. But then there's also that vibe like, can Mariah be trusted by anybody right now?
Right.
You were underneath the wing of Toni Storm for all this long. Now Mina might look at you a little sideways.
Yes, that's how I feel.
So that's kind of cool.
Oh man,
that
Big
match,
Bill.
Well, fuck TV time shit, man. I don't know.
Yo, man, TV time is fucking great, man. I love TV time, bro. TV time is one of my favorite times of Dynamite. When Chris Jericho comes out and addresses the realism that his career is not ending anytime soon, and he laughs in the IWC's face and says, "I'll be here for another 250 episodes.
Episode 500 at least.
Episode 500, count me in." And then you got Brian Keith, who's shown more personality in his entire time with AEW. I love it. What I didn't love was the end of that segment which is New Japan chucking out the murder grandpa, the old man himself, Minoru Suzuki, for what? There are 150 niggas on this roster. Where is Miro? Where is anybody else that could do some damage? But instead, we got Minoru Suzuki coming out here, waving a piece of paper in front of Jericho's face, giving him a headbutt, and then the whole Learning Tree faction just staring at this old nigga as he just waves and walks off. I was confused. I was just like, huh? What's happening here? This segment went from entertaining to like, this is just mad TV now.
Well, then Chris Jericho shouldn't have called him out to be his partner at Forbidden Door.
So now, all right, storytelling. We're going to continue the story. Now we want to continue telling fucking stories here. Now we're going to go back to that and continue telling stories. I didn't remember that. I don't think anyone else cares to remember that one because niggas don't want to see Minoru Suzuki fighting Chris Jericho. That's not it. That is like, yo, no way. Like, I actually rather Hook pop back up and have another match with Jericho than watch Minoru fucking Suzuki have a match with Chris Jericho where a combined age of 155 is on the screen for the FTW Championship. There's way too much talent on this AEW roster for Minoru Suzuki to be competing for a TV match for a championship at any point. And I don't want to sound like the fucking Minoru Suzuki hater, but it's just like, yo, dog, I'm not buying this shit. I just can't buy it.
Same way you feel about Suzuki, I'm good on Jericho, bro.
Jericho gonna get it done, man. Pause. He gets it done.
Gets what done, dog?
Yo, he's getting over. He's laughing in everyone's face while he's doing it. He's bringing Big Bill and Brian Keith with him. He's saving Brian Keith's AEW tenure right now, and I appreciate that. Black wrestlers, I support it. You know what I'm saying? I support this shit. But
let me ask you a question.
Shoot.
Chris Jericho having Brian Keith as part of this faction does what for Brian Keith besides get him on TV? Because when the faction ends, what happens?
Brian Keith could be a contender for an international championship. He could be a continental champion. He could be in the C2. I'm going to be optimistic.
Based on his work with Jericho right now?
Yo, Sammy Guevara is a 19-time TNT champion. He's been with Chris Jericho for the entirety of his fucking AEW career. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see.
Not everybody's in a bad space. Danny Garcia is one of the most beloved niggas in AEW, much to my chagrin. But
it's not even bad space. I'm not saying that being with Jericho is a bad thing. I just don't see how him being with Jericho right now is actually helping them. Besides him having something to do for 5 minutes every episode.
Personality. Him showing personality more than we would on Rampage or a backstage promo segment with Orange Cassidy. That's all. Which to me, by the way, when the fuck did Roos join the Don Callis family?
They've been doing that. They did that it was either last week or the week before, but they had, Don Callis has been courting them for a little bit.
On what show?
It's been on Dynamite.
Yo, I can't believe.
It's definitely been on Dynamite. They've been courting for a little bit. There was a video at some point where they were shaking hands backstage. Like all of this. There was a episode where Don Callis was on commentary like 2 or 3 times because his guys.
This had to have been Rampage. This had to have been Rampage. No way this was on. Like, bro, this is insane.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it happened on Dynamite. Even if it didn't, I know that it happened because I watched it. You know what I mean? And Roosh and Don Callis shook hands, and they are aligned.
Does anyone not realize that joining the Don Callis family is bad news bears? Like, nothing good comes to joining this fucking faction. Like, not a thing good happens from joining this crew. So I'm just like, why is this the end of Roosh right now, him being in this fucking group, yo? Like, God damn it, man. I can't call it with this, bro. I caught that last night and I was just like, what's happening here? Why is this happening to Roosh? Why Roosh? Why? Stop, Cass, stop. Why Roosh? Why? Like, you're way too good to be getting aligned Kyle Fletcher. Takeshita ain't even around no more. Hobbs on himself.
If you want to use the Jericho shit, you know what I mean? At least he's on TV, no? Don Callis is on TV every week. At least he's on TV, right?
Speaking of him on TV every week, Mercedes Moné has a title defense against Nyla Rose, who was on the Cook segment this week.
I thought that was a good match, though.
That was a cool match. She got the job done. CEO. Yeah, we get it. Britt Baker with the Sting mask.
I
I,
like
that was,
I like Mercedes pulling out her own custom glove just to troll a little bit
that was clever. That was clever. She's so much better in this role
as a
now.
heel.
Yes,
I've
like
been saying this shit since like week 2.
now that it's like blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
There's
She's
no,
hanging out with the elite backstage, you know what I mean? She's rubbing shoulders with the elite, with the EVPs. Like she is a natural dislikable character. And now that she's leaning into it, when you add that to a returning Britt Baker, who everybody's wanted to see for the last year plus, that's good money right there.
the CEO aligned with the EVPs. It's just very authority-ish, and that's what's best for business. To be honest, like I said, like when she came in, she should be aligned with the EVPs, with the mud
Okada
line.
having a thing for her backstage. Yo, do the dance for me one time.
That was the thing. Okada is the bright spot of the Idiot World Order every time I see him. I can't not. He is, in fact, as much
Listen,
as
man, when what did I say about Okada before he left? Everybody's like, yo, I want to see him go to NXT. I want to see him go to AEW. I want to see him go to the Raw, SmackDown. I want to see him do this. I want to see him do that. Like, there's a big difference between you seeing Okada at select times for big matches because New Japan doesn't have TV. They have shows. It's a big difference between seeing him in that capacity and seeing him on weekly television where you have to have him do something every week.
it works.
Hold on. And they're going to either have to find something for him to do that's interesting, or they're going to water him down some way, shape, or form. It's inevitable that you get watered down when people see you every week. There's nothing special about you anymore, so you have to now be creative and have him do something. And because the main event scene is full right now, he is not at the top of the card fighting for the world championship. You need to have him do something else. So when you say Brian Keith is benefiting from being with Chris Jericho because he's able to show his personality, what happens if Okada comes in and he's not a heel and he's just big match Okada, but he's not in the world title scene? Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, who cares? He's just out here wrestling and having good matches."
He would be
blah, blah, blah.
Takeshita. He would just
Right.
be Takeshita.
This situation right now has people talking about Okada for reasons other than him having matches.
I get
know
you.
a little bit more about Okada now. He has a personality. People are not going to think he does. People are going to say, "Oh, he has no personality because he doesn't speak English natively." Oh, he surprised you by actually speaking English pretty well. He has a sense of humor. He has good comedic timing. Like, this is money to me. And
I
then
agree.
when it's time to flip the switch and put him either as a baby face, what's the breakup with the elite look like? When does he decide that he wants to have a world championship match? What happens when there's somebody from New Japan who he has real beef with, who's actually active and not like Tanahashi, who's broken down? You know what I mean? There's so much to do with Okada, and you're not just burning everything right now, that it's mind-boggling to me, but also not surprising to me, which is why I stay out of a lot of conversations on social media, on Twitter specifically, because I think people see what happens and they see two people and then they say, yeah, me too. And that becomes your argument for the next 2 weeks. When it's like, fuck, I can watch that shit and see it differently, and I don't give a shit what y'all talking about. So Okada's fine to me right now. Mercedes
I agree.
is amazing to me right now because she's finally leaning into the shit that she's supposed to do. Like, there's a lot going. I don't know. That's just my rant for the week.
I get you on that. I'm picking up what you're laying down. Like, this is the best. Like, seeing Okada in this space, I couldn't see him in NXT right now. Like, I'm just like, I don't know where he'd even fit in right now because he has no mouthpiece. There's like, I don't know where the fuck he would even go. Like, granted, he would be the big match guy. They'd probably put the world title on him real quick, but it's just like, who's he going to play off of an NXT in that current stance right now? Sean Spears and Ethan Page? Like,
I thought it was so smart the way that they brought him in immediate heel. It was so smart.
Yes, I did appreciate that. So I'm cool with it. I'm cool with Okada in his position right now. We had Britt Baker show up. You know, that was cool. That match is going to bang. I'm ready for Jamie Hayter to return. That's going to be nice, too. And then we go right to the main event, which is basically Swerve versus Okada for the no championship. It was on the line. It was just a nothing match. It ended with a DQ.
Yeah, that was the blood and guts setup.
Yes. I'm so ready for Blood and Guts to be over. Thank God it's next week. Get this shit over with. Let's get back to our normal scheduled feuds. Let's get back to Swerve having prominence with a world title program. Let's get back to the titles that are attached to the Mudline actually doing something. I'm tired of this vortex the Acclaimed have taken over the tag division. If they're not going to win the tag titles, get them out the division already. There needs to be somebody else here. Like, something else has to go on. The TNT Championship, Mark Briscoe's the Ring of Honor World Champion. He's about to face Roddy Strong at the ROH pay-per-view, but he's feuding with Jack Perry. He's having a tough time with Jack Perry. Why he can't knock the fuck out of Jack Perry with ease, I don't know. Okada, he's never going to defend the Continental Breakfast Championship at this rate. I don't know who's going to even feud with for that title. I can't even call what his spot at Wembley even looks like at this point.
I've seen a lot of people, and there's nothing that's actually happened outside of like a face-off real quick, that it might be Hangman and Okada. I just got to see how they connect the dots to actually get there for Wembley. You know, but like, I've seen a lot of people talk about like Hangman isn't necessarily part of the Elite. He's just joining them for the blood and guts to get close to Swerve.
Yes.
But he's not really with them. And it could be a situation where he sees Okada as the guy that the Bucks chose to replace him with. So there could be like little animosity there. Maybe there's some seeds that they want to plant. Maybe something happens at Blood and Guts between the two of them. But I don't know that I'm 100% on board with that, because I have to see how if that is the direction, how they set it up. But I wouldn't be mad at that for the match.
Maybe this is just the like how I looked at it like last night was a precursor of Swerve and Hangman being inevitable, Bryan Danielson being an afterthought, and Okada is just going to be buffering until the C2.
But yeah, no, because all of them have to have matches at Wembley, and you would theoretically think that they also, if not all of them, most of those guys have to have a match at All Out as well. You know what I mean? So there has to be a program before we even get to Wrestle Dream and the Seattle shit. Because I've seen all kind of theories. I've seen theories like Bryan wins at All In to drop it back to Swerve. You know,
at Wrestle Dream
in Washington. You know, I've seen like, you know, at some point we have to get Hangman and Swerve with a definitive win for Swerve over Hangman. Hangman versus Okada. Is Hangman with the Elite or not? You know. We're gonna get the return of Danny Garcia at some point, and now MJF is holding this international championship.
That ain't selling Wembley. That
doesn't have to.
That ain't doing Wembley. That's all out. Like certain matches are all out. Certain like they're just not. They're not Wembley.
That doesn't have to sell Wembley if you have a fire main event like this. Again, the story of Bryan Danielson possibly winning that championship in front of their biggest crowd of the year is a big ass story to sell. Right.
But you still
then you can
have
also
a card
do
that matters.
But I think you have a lower opinion of Daniel Garcia than a lot of people do. You know, I think it might be 50-50 or close, but I think a lot of people are behind Daniel Garcia, specifically after that Continental Classic. And if they heat him up to where he comes back and he's now a threat for MJF with this new title, the prospect of him beating MJF for the championship is interesting to a lot of people.
It's tough. Real tough there. I'm just not sold on Danny Garcia over MJF just yet. Because MJF still got to get over. He still got to get back into the groove of shit. Like, even him losing to Ospreay potentially at Wembley, I'm just like, that only works because they're in a feud right now. And they're giving us Christmas early. Like, I tweeted this earlier, but I was like, yo, if Tony Khan had the pencil in WWE, Cody would have finished his story on a random episode of Raw. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just giving us dream matches and dream feuds because niggas got to bring in the fucking views and ratings and eyes and ears as fast as they can right now. So why wait for this monster feud that we all know we can't wait to see? So they're going to just pile it on, and by the end of the year, we'll have seen Ospreay MJF 4 times already. I'm not mad at that, but I think we'll probably be exhausted by their feud by come Wrestle Dream. We'll be like, yo, MJF and Ospreay. That will probably make me want to go, all right, now I can enjoy a feud of MJF and Danny Garcia to a full extent because I've seen MJF and Ospreay fight each other 4 times in a row on pay-per-view.
But, like, this is how you plant those seeds. Like, they planted those seeds for Danny Garcia looking like somebody that can stand next to a guy that's been in the main event, a guy that's been a world champion.
But he
already.
hasn't won anything credible, so I
Not
just
yet.
don't buy it. I
Not
just don't
yet. He
buy it.
hasn't yet. But now you know his motivation is to get back at MJF because he put him on the shelf.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's a little motivation motivation there, and he's now in a situation with a guy that's a former world champion, main event guy, ratings draw. You know, so that's important. You got to give these guys that step so that they don't seem like they're coming out of the fucking clear blue when they do get that shot. They got to come out of the clear blue at some point, but it can't be when they actually, you know, the bell rings for the title match.
Boy just got to win some matches against people that matter. That's all. Like, I got to see Danny Garcia pick up some credible wins before I'm like, yo, that guy's gonna beat MJF. Because right now I'm like, okay, he's gonna come back and then lose.
But yo, look at this though. Even if he doesn't wrestle anybody before he comes back, or excuse me, even if he doesn't wrestle anybody when he comes back, and now he's gunning straight for MJF, and he does something to provoke MJF into giving him a title match, or he does something to provoke Tony Khan and Chris Daniels to make that match and force MJF to defend that championship. That's a feud, though. And even if he beats MJF, it doesn't come out of the fucking clear blue. It's a surprising win. It's an upset. But that shit is fine for me. Like, sometimes I don't need every time somebody to go through the gauntlet of, you know, win until we get to that guy. Okada had a fucking 15-year career on top, coming out of the clear blue where the fuck to beat Tanahashi for his first world championship. So sometimes it can work. I'm not saying that's going to happen here. I'm just saying it's a possibility and it's an option.
It's funny you mentioned Christopher Daniels, my boy. That guy is the worst general manager of all general managers. Like, I'm talking about, like, Santino Marella is the best general manager when you compare him to this fucking idiot pants, yo.
I don't know. Your man on Raw is a bit of a dick as far as Drew McIntyre is concerned.
Yo, bro, I'll take Adam Pearce and his "you gotta apologize" motif.
Adam Pearce out here bowing down to CM Punk, bro.
Yo, I'll take that over Christopher Daniels stripping the Bang Bang Gang of the Trios Championship to only make them have to fight for the Trios Championship.
Yo, it's hilarious. Like, didn't Samoa Joe? I mean,
yo, dog.
What you call it? MJF had the title for Adam Cole.
Yo, MJF was a Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion for fucking 4 months by himself, literally carrying one tag team belt around for 4 months, up until he damn near lost the belts, all simultaneously together. And now this whole, you gotta have a partner, you're on the injury reserve. Yo, Jay White's been going a week, my nigga. Like, what do you mean? Like,
my man is just coming back. He's just at the store a little long, man.
Yo, dog, he ain't even on like injury reserve, my nigga. He's just literally just at home right now, just recuperating for like a little break, my nigga. Jin and Juice been gone for fucking 5 months, and now he comes back and he gets stripped of the trios titles. Dog, I was tight. I was so tight because I'm like, yo, this group is winning me over. They're the Collision Cowboys. They're killing it right now. One of my favorite, honestly. I'm with the Bang Bang Gang. Guns up, man. Like, guns the fuck up, yo. And the fact that they're getting fucked by Christopher Daniels, and now the belts are probably going to go to the Patriarchy this Saturday on Collision, has me like, I guess, like, there's just so many trios right now that I'm just like, anybody but the Acclaimed. But also, you could have done way more with anything in the trios division. Like, the Patriarchy as champions are gonna be cool, but it's just too many belts. We got to figure that out. Like, that's got to get figured out amongst all of this, because them handing over 9 belts to Christopher Daniels is fucking outlandish. Like, literally, like, handing the belts over like it was like the shit was like plates of food to him and the referee was ridiculous, yo. Like, y'all got to cut the Acclaimed purple belts got to go. The Ring of Honor belts got to go. We got to just get back to one set of trios titles, because this is just getting out of hand now. It worked for the Bang Bang Gang, but I don't see the Patriarchy rocking with 9 belts. I don't see Christian holding up 3 belts. Nick Wayne could barely hold his fucking pants belts up. And I don't see Luchasaurus holding up 3 belts his damn self, let alone a pink belt. Like, I don't see it happening.
Nah, Christian gonna make Luchasaurus hold all 3 of their belts.
Yo,
Like, yo, holeless.
Yo, son.
Christian gonna come out like, yo, I am the trios champs.
Yo, dog. Luchasaurus holding a stack of belts like fucking lurch behind everybody is mad funny. Like, yo, take your belt off the top like
He's
this.
just holding them like this.
Holding
He's
them,
got
yeah,
all
yeah.
9 belts around his arm.
Yeah,
They're strapped
yeah,
up.
yeah. All together, you just take the belts off the top. Like, yeah, you see this belt right here? This is mine. And he puts it back on top. Like that alone, I could see the patriarchy being the trios champions and me enjoying that reign. But I just don't like the fact that the Bang Bang gang had to get stripped of the belts in order for this to happen. Because Austin or Colton could have easily taken a pinfall, and this would have been fine. This will probably be the match at All In and All Out, but this could have just waited until All In or All Out. That's me. You know what I mean? And that's Dynamite mixed with a little bit of Collision. Lastly, we didn't really talk too much about Raw, but it's all good. We've still got fucking 2 weeks till SummerSlam, so I think we'll be all right. You know what I mean? We didn't really miss too much.
It is 2 weeks, right? Yeah, that's right around the corner.
We didn't really talk much WWE, you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of just, I don't know if you want to go through that or you want to just talk about the introducing the mid-card women's titles before we get out of here. It's up to you.
I mean, I like I'm kind of hot and cold with the mid-card titles because, like, we have tag team championships and we see how much they care about those.
It's a different story. You got to have strange bedfellow tag teams to keep those titles going.
I don't know. I think, like, theoretically it helps, but also you can accomplish just interesting feuds by writing interesting feuds. So it does give, some people that maybe they don't have strong creative something to actually go for. But we'll see. I'm kind of reserving, and I don't think we need 2. Like,
yeah, 2 was a bit fucking
thinning it out to have an Intercontinental and a US is like
that was a lot.
And tag team titles like we're gonna have 2 world titles, 1 US, 1 Intercontinental, and tag. Like,
and one tag. One
roster,
tag.
But one tag, but they float. But that still requires at least 2 other people for the tag champs to have a match with. So that's the roster ain't. That's tough for the men's division, which is probably double the size at least. Of the women's division.
If you look at NXT, that NXT women's division is so stacked right now that like them introducing a women's mid card title,
which if they start bringing people up, cool. But then that thins NXT out. So we got to see. There's just a lot of moving chairs that have to happen in order for this to work out and feel like we have fresh feuds and matchups, and then still enough juice to squeeze where we have interesting stories that don't revolve around titles. That's a lot to ask.
I think this is a belt designed for Naomi, personally.
For who? For Naomi?
For Naomi, yeah. I think this is a belt that they were like, you know what?
I think like she's in that situation now. Yeah, she's in that place now where even though she was a world champion in TNA, WWE doesn't see her as a world champ, right?
No.
So she could be like their workhorse Intercontinental.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm defending this open challenge type of vibes.
Yes.
And it'd be great matches and entertaining because when she has those big matches in world title situations, I don't think she's winning those.
Agreed. That's why I think it's right on cue for them to make these belts for Naomi to win the inaugural time. And she could be the one on SmackDown, whether it's the Intercontinental or US. And then on Raw, I could see it being Candice LeRae, as fucking random as that is. I could see Candice taking this. I could see Nia's on SmackDown. She's gonna win the women's title.
But like, yo, with Candice, for example, what's shorty that she's always with?
Indy Hartwell. This could be Indy Hartwell.
Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae are like, all right, but why not have them in the tag division doing something? You know, like they're already paired up. They could be a tag. Is Candice LeRae strong? She gets 0 reaction when she comes out. So is she strong enough to now be in the Intercontinental or U.S. scene? No.
Who else is in the women's division? Zelina Vega, I guess. This is like this women's card is a title that I feel like is built for Zelina and Naomi. Like this is their thank you for being here belts.
Yeah, but they also gotta have interest in. So I don't know. I'm kind of wait and see with it. You know, I think like I would be excited, a little bit more excited about it if it was just the Intercontinental, let's say. But to do 2 because we need one for Raw and one for SmackDown, I really don't think we need that.
Just fuck the draft. Like, just go back and forth. Like, You know what I mean?
Yo, but like again, like if there's one champion that goes back and forth to one brand versus the next, you can keep those feuds fresh because for one pay-per-view cycle, they got a feud with somebody on Raw. Next pay-per-view cycle, they feud with somebody on SmackDown. Easy.
Fair.
And it doesn't burn it out. To spread that out where they got 2 mid cards, we'll see. You know, I'm not gonna kill it before it's born, but we'll see.
I like the idea of it. I'm intrigued. You know what I mean? I just hope that the winners of those inaugural belts all are women that rightfully could be competing for the world title, but because of the division being so stacked, they don't stand a chance. So this is the belt that's best suited for them right now. So that's my take on it. But belt designs look cool, and I hope they implement the belts, before WrestleMania, so we can have some more belts. Period. Because like AEW and WWE, everyone copies off each other. So more belts go around.
It's a lot of belts, man.
There's so many belts.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, man. That's
it.
96, man. 96 Bulls, bro.
9-6 on them. We're going to 97 next week, ready to die. You know what I mean? Nah, that's a life after death.
Life after death.
That's life after death. 9-7. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're cleaning up on them, man. We're making it happen, Captain. We have a prediction show next week, do we? No, next prediction show.
I think it's the week after. Was this 96? I think 98.
98, because SummerSlam is the 3rd. Yes, in Cleveland.
I think I'm off that episode. That's the 1st, right? That's
the
August
1st? Yes, August 1st.
Yeah, I'm off.
Yes, so you will not be defending the belt. Crazy enough. That's kind of wild.
So fuck, I'm retaining through SummerSlam by default.
It's kind of wild, man. It's kind of wild.
I see y'all at Wembley.
That is sick, man. Nah, you got Berlin actually. I think you got Berlin before then. Berlin or Wembley.
That's before Wembley. That's
you got a double feature that whole weekend actually. It's Berlin and Wembley, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's the same week. Okay.
But joining us the following week will be Keeks and Kiki, and then we got some good guests. Keep floating through for the rest of the summer, the rest of the fall. Krista from those Wrestling Girls join us in November, so it's gonna be fun, man. Shout out to everybody that's coming through for the Ringside Club to join us at Ringside. And, we keeping this shit flowing, man. It's the RSC, the Almighty. Until the next time, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe, like, tell a friend to tell a friend. We cooking.
Nah, me. And with that being said, peace.